Welcome students. Now we will discuss physical and chemical properties of alkenes. Physical properties like solubility, boiling point and density. And in chemical properties you will find different reactions which are shown by alkenes. Alkenes having double bond or pi bond undergo addition reactions, and in addition reaction there is a very famous reaction Markovnikov addition and anti-Markovnikov addition. Focus on that, you will find number of questions based on this topic. So let's start. Physical properties of alkenes. Actually alkenes are similar in the physical properties to alkanes. Alkenes as a class resemble alkanes in physical properties except in type of isomerism and difference in polar nature. Obviously alkenes do not show conformations because it is not free rotation along carbon-carbon double bond. The first three members of alkenes are gaseous, next 14 are liquids and the higher are solids. Ethene is a colorless gas with sweet smell. Rest of other alkenes are colorless, odorless and insoluble in water, obviously because these are non-polar hydrocarbons, but they are soluble in solvents, organic solvents like benzene and petroleum ether, etc. Okay, now they show regular increase in boiling point with increase in size. This is obviously because as the carbon chain increases, the van der Waals interaction between the chains increases, and because of which the boiling point also increases. Now every CH2 group added to the molecule increases boiling point by 20 to 30 Kelvin. This CH2 group means two adjacent alkenes like ethene and propene would have a difference of boiling point by 20 or 30 Kelvin. Next is, like alkanes, straight chain alkenes have higher boiling point than isomeric branches, as we have just discussed that branching decreases the boiling point. Now chemical properties of alkenes, and we will start with hydrogenation of alkenes, and it is an important method. I told you it is used in industries to convert unsaturated hydrocarbons into saturated hydrocarbons. That means it is used to convert vegetable oils into vanaspati ghee. And this hydrogenation means, yes, addition of hydrogens along the double bond of alkenes. This reaction takes place in the presence of catalysts like palladium, platinum, nickel, etc. And this is the reaction. Hydrogen is reacted with the unsaturated compound alkene in the presence of platinum, palladium, also nickel is the most common catalyst used for this reaction. And this hydrogen, one hydrogen attaches itself to this carbon and another to this carbon and results in the formation of a saturated hydrocarbon. Similarly, if we react CH3, CH double bond, CH2 to the hydrogen, we pass hydrogen gas to this compound in the presence of nickel, we will get an alkane with the formula CH3, CH2, CH3. So this was propene converted into propane by passing hydrogen gas in the presence of nickel as a catalyst. Next is halogenation of alkenes. Halogenation means, yes, addition of halogens. In this, halogens like bromine or chlorine add up to the alkene to form vicinal dihalides. Now vicinal dihalides means halogens are present at adjacent carbon positions. However, iodine does not show addition reaction under normal condition. Now this reaction, this halogenation reaction is used for test for unsaturation also. And this is the reaction. Bromine in carbon tetrachloride reacts with ethene, and one bromine adds to this carbon, another adds to this carbon to form 1,2-dibromomethane. Similarly, chlorine reacts with propane. One chlorine attaches to this carbon while another one to this carbon to give 1,2-dichloropropane, and this reaction is used for unsaturation. As I told you, how bromine water is a reagent which is of brown color. It is bromine dissolved in CCl4. When an unsaturated compound, that means a compound which has double or triple bond, is added to the bromine water, the bromine from the water attaches itself to the compound according to this reaction, and because of which the color of bromine water changes from brown to colorless. So whenever a compound, unsaturated compound will be added to the bromine water, it will result in decolorization of bromine water, and this indicates that compound is unsaturated. So the reddish orange color of the bromine water, or also brownish color in carbon tetrachloride, is discharged when bromine adds up to an unsaturated site. Now addition of hydrogen halides, that means let's say addition of hydrogen bromide. Now this is a special reaction. What happens? Let's take an example in which HBr is added to a symmetrical alkene. Symmetrical alkene means the alkene in which the compounds, both the carbons along double bond are similar. Let's say this one and this one. This is ethene molecule, and both the groups are similar in this. So if we add HBr to this, what happens? H attaches to one carbon while bromine attaches to other carbon to give CH2H and CH2Br. This is very simple in case of symmetrical alkenes. The reaction is very usual, just we have to add carbon and hydrogen and bromine. Just let's take another example of a symmetrical alkene. It is CH3, CH double bond, CH, CH3. When HBr would be reacted to this compound, we'll get CH3. Both the carbon atoms are identical and these groups are same, so it is a symmetrical alkene, and one hydrogen will come to this side while bromine come to another carbon site. So this is the way hydrogen bromide or hydrogen halides attach to a symmetrical alkene. But the problem comes in case of unsymmetrical alkenes. Unsymmetrical alkenes like what if I want to react CH3, CH double bond, CH2 with HBr. Now we know that these two carbons which are attached to the double bond are not symmetrical anymore. So there are two possibilities, that one compound may be CH2 hydrogen here and bromine at this position. Another possibility is that bromine comes here and hydrogen comes here. Now there are two possible products formed when alkenes are not symmetrical. So which one would be followed? This problem can be solved by Markovnikov rule, according to which negative part of the additant, that means adding molecule, gets attached to that carbon atom which possesses lesser number of hydrogen atoms. Let's try to understand this. CH3, CH double bond, CH. So this was the molecule which is reacting with HBr. So according to Markovnikov rule, the negative part will go to that carbon which has lesser number of hydrogen atoms. That means bromine will go to this carbon. So the product according to the Markovnikov rule will be CHBr, CH2H. This should be the product according to Markovnikov rule, which says that negative part goes to, we know this is Br negative, this is H positive. So the negative part goes to that carbon which has lesser number of hydrogen atoms. Okay, so let's try to see that what is the mechanism, why does this happen. Actually, let's say this is the compound. The first step is attack of proton, and there are two possibilities, that first this proton gets attached to this carbon and this will result in formation of this carbocation. Another possibility is that hydrogen attacks to that carbon, this carbon atom, and this will result in formation of this secondary carbocation. Now we know out of these, this one is primary carbocation, this one is secondary carbocation, and we know that secondary carbocations are more stable as compared to primary carbocation because of inductive effects of the groups attached to this. So this one would be formed and not this. Okay. Now next step is attack of bromine on the carbocation formed. So carbocation which is actually formed is CH positive CH3. Now bromine, the bromide ion will attack this carbon and it will result in formation of secondary bromide. And that is why Markovnikov rule says that bromine goes to that carbon atom which contains less number of hydrogen atoms. So next is anti-Markovnikov addition. Now we have seen the Markovnikov rule. Now there is a special effect that when we add a peroxide to the reacting mixture, this is the same compound propene, we are reacting with HBr. So according to the Markovnikov rule, what should be the product is CH3, CHBr here and CH3. But when we add peroxide to this reacting mixture, actually the major product is this CH3, CH3Br. This is the effect of peroxide or this effect product. So now question comes why? Why does the peroxide changes the product? This one becomes major product now. So if we simply react alkene with HBr, we will get secondary alkyl halide. But when we react alkene with HBr in the presence of peroxide, we will get primary alkyl halide. Now question comes why? And this addition, as we know, this is opposite to the Markovnikov addition. That's why it is known as anti-Markovnikov addition or also peroxide effect or Kharash effect. Let's try to find out why does this happen. And it can be find out only on the basis of its mechanism. And this reaction follows actually free radical mechanism. Whatever we have added, the peroxide is the key factor here. It is this C6H5O. Okay. So the first step of the mechanism or the reaction is this. This peroxide decomposes to produce two C6H5 free radicals. Now the second step is that these free radicals generated, free radicals which are formed in first step, actually C6H5 free radical reacts with HBr and abstracts a proton from here to form C6H6 benzene and results in formation of bromide free radical. Now this bromide free radical attacks on the actually alkene CH3 CH double bond CH2 bromine, and this bromide again, if this reacts to this carbon, attacks this carbon, then the product formed will be CH3 CH free radical CH2Br. This is the first product possible. This is another product which is possible. If bromide free radical attacks to this carbon, the product formed will be CH3 CHBr CH2. Now we know this is secondary free radical which is more stable. So this one is formed and not this. Now as we know, and the next step, the final step is attack of this free radical which is formed, secondary free radical which was the major product, again reacts with HBr to abstract a free radical and which results in the formation of CH3 CH2 CH2Br and a bromine free radical is generated. So this is why addition of peroxide changes the major product. Next is acid catalyzed hydration of alkanes. Now we know what is hydration. Hydration is addition of water molecules. And acid catalyzed, that means it is the addition of water molecules in the presence of catalyst, acid. Now, so in the presence of few drop of concentrated sulfuric acid, alkenes react with water to form alcohols, and this takes place according to the Marconi-Curve rule. This is the reaction actually, in which acid, water in the presence of acid as a catalyst is reacting with the alkene to form alcohol. Now actually this H2O contains OH negative and H positive. So this is the addition of water molecule in a symmetrical alkene. Now what happens if this is an unsymmetrical alkene like this, CH3, CH, double bond, CH. In this case, if water molecule is added in the presence of acid, then the addition will take place according to the Marconi-Curve rule. That means the negative part will go to that alkene, that carbon which has lesser number of carbon atoms, lesser number of hydrogen atoms. So it will go to this carbon and it will form CH3, CH, OH, CH3. That means secondary alcohol is formed. Now what if we want to produce primary alcohol? That cannot be produced using this reaction, because this will result in formation of secondary alcohols only, because the addition takes place according to Marconi-Curve rule. In that case, the reaction which is used is known as hydroboration oxidation of alkenes. Now hydroboration oxidation results in the formation of alcohol according to anti-Marconi-Curve rule, and this is like this. In this, if I react, first alkene is reacted with BH3 and finally it is reacted with hydrogen peroxide and NaOH, which results in the formation of alcohols. So if it is reacted with propene, first with BH3 followed by hydrogen peroxide, so it will result in formation of alcohols according to anti-Marconi-Curve rule. That means like this. This is primary alcohol. Now why does this happen? Let's have a look at the mechanism of hydroboration oxidation. Actually this is the alkene molecule. When first of all it is reacted with HBH2, that means it is reacted with BH3, and the product formed is actually CH3, CH, CH2, H, BH2. This is the intermediate, and which finally converts to CH3, CH2, CH2, BH2. This compound is again attacked by the reactant alkene, which results in formation of a compound CH3, CH2, CH2 whole twice BH. This is once again attacked by the reactant alkene, which results in formation of CH3, CH, CH2 whole thrice B. Now up to this part it was hydroboration. Now next step is oxidation in the presence of H2O2 and NaOH, which results in formation of 3 molecules of CH3, actually it was 2, yeah, CH2, CH2OH. So it is a two-step process, hydroboration followed by oxidation, results in the formation of primary alcohols. Next is oxidation of alkenes. Now alkenes react with cold, dilute, aqueous solution of potassium permanganate, which is also known as Bayer's reagent, to produce vicinal glycols. Vicinals means OH are present at adjacent positions. And this is actually like this. Compound is, this is the alkene. When it is reacted with H2O and hydrogen peroxide, which produces nascent oxygen, the result formed is like this: CH2, CH2, one OH here, one OH here. This is the wrong reactant. This is ethylene glycol. Similarly, when propene is reacted with Bayer's reagent, which is actually the aqueous solution of cold potassium permanganate, we result propylene glycol. That means OH attaches to the adjacent double bonded carbon atoms. And this reaction is also used for detection of unsaturation in compounds. When an unsaturated compound is added to the Bayer's reagent gets decolorized, and this shows that the compound is unsaturated. Next is acidic potassium permanganate or acidic potassium dichromate oxidizes alkenes to ketones or acids depending upon the nature of alkenes and experimental condition. Like this. This is 2-methylpropene. When it is reacted with KMnO4 in acidic medium, we get propane 2-one, which is ketone. But when butene is reacted with KMnO4, it gets converted into ethanoic acid. So the end product will depend on the alkene which we are taking and also on the reaction mixture. The next is ozonolysis of alkene. It is another important reaction in which addition of ozone molecules to alkene to form ozonoid take place, and these ozonoids are then cleaved by zinc and water to form smaller molecules of aldehyde and ketones. Let's have a look at this. Let's say we are starting with CH2 double bond CH2. This is an alkene. When it is reacted with ozone, it results in a formation of a compound like this, CH2O, CH2, now this is called ozonide. Now this ozonide is then reacted with zinc in water, and cleavage of the compound takes place like this, and results in formation of two compounds, HCH, and also from this side the same compound. So this reaction is called ozonolysis. This is the ozonolysis of T2-methylpropene. Again, it is first reacted with ozone to form ozonoid, then this ozonoid, cleavage of this ozonoid takes place from this position and results in the formation of acetone, and from this side methanol. Next is polymerization of alkene. We all are familiar with polythene, which is actually polymer of ethene. So alkenes at high temperature in the presence of catalyst polymerize to form polymer, like ethene polymerizes to form polythene. Similarly, this is propene, which polymerizes to form polypropene. Now there are some solved problems. The most common reactions of alkenes are alkenes undergo addition reactions, and these addition reactions are also, yes, electrophilic addition reaction because of presence of pi electrons. So these undergo electrophilic addition reactions. Next is ozonolysis of an olefin, that means alkene, gives only propanone. So we have to find out that which alkene is this. Actually, just what we can do, first write down the structure of propanone. This is the product formed, and in fact 2 molecules of this product would be formed. So we have to find out the reactant. So the best way to do is just write down it in this form, CH3, CH3. This is the one molecule which we got, and again another molecule would be similar, CH3, CH3. Now what we have to do is to convert this in the form of ozonoid. So this would be the ozonoid formed so that this formation of this compound took place. Remove these double bonded oxygen atoms, and next all we need to do is, yes, to add these two carbons through double bond. So the compound which were used for the reaction is CH3, CH3, this is C, CH3, CH3. So this was the olefin required desired olefin, and its name is 1,2,3,4 2,3-dimethyl but 2-ene. So D is the answer. Okay, next here's a reaction given and we have to find out the end product. Okay, the first step is it is reacting with Cl2, that is chlorination of ethene, CH2, CH2. When it is chlorinated, we know vicinal dihalides are formed, that in which halogens are present at adjacent positions. The next is its reaction with AgOH, and this AgOH will replace chlorine from, yes, OH groups. So it is a alcohol, vicinal alcohol, which is known as glycol. Students, in case you have any doubt in this topic, you can post that question in our discussion board. For that, all you need to do is to go to the home page of Ask IITians. There you will find an option of discussion board. You have to click there. Then in the right side, you will find a portion of Ask Experts. In that, just select the category in which you want to post your question. Let's say it's physical chemistry. Then post your question here, and then if you want to attach any image, use this option to attach the image, and finally post it by clicking on Get Answer, and you will be answered within 24 to 48 hours by our experts. So now you are aware of addition reactions shown by alkene, and those are mainly Markovnikov addition, anti-Markovnikov addition, and apart from these, there is another important reaction, and that was, yes, hydroboration oxidation reactions. Focus on these carefully because most of the questions from this chapter come from alkene, and that is also from chemical properties of alkenes. In our next video, we will move to another class of unsaturated hydrocarbons known as alkynes. Stay tuned.